We are continuing to look at this message sent in by Mr. Big Stones. And as I have mentioned before, this message was actually sent to the Irish Inquiry social media site, a site run and created by Stephen Kerr. And Stephen, who filmed the very first presentation by the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign, released that on his site. So Mr. Big Stones has put in this statement or message. We've looked at 1, 2, 3 and 4. We have already looked at number 5, but I did say we will have to look at this again because this is particularly important. And it's where Mr. Big Stone says, Tony belittled everyone who gave evidence and said they were lying. He's playing the rough justice card, yet rough justice never criticised witnesses in the past miscarriages of justice. Always the police made the mistake. So we're going to stay with the initial part of this question, part number 5 here. Now, we have created a video in respect of Daniel Kahal, and Daniel Kahal who told lies during the course of his testimony, and we showed that. That is not belittling anyone. That is showing them for what they are, liars and con men to all intents and purposes, who told a tissue of lies to protect themselves from being sent home and deported from America. Now, as Stephen released this presentation, the very first presentation of the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign, that was back in September 2020. And what I want to do now is just on top of just following on from the video we done in relation to Daniel Kahal telling lies, and in particular about being in Aaron's apartment, very clear information he gave during the course of his testimony. That was absolute lies. It was perjury. So we want to show the continuity of Aaron's campaign, and I'm just going to rerun a video myself and Sonia created back at the end of 2022. So we're heading for 18 months ago now, and we can see that our narrative has stayed the same from the day one of our presentation in September 2020, right through 2 years later in the video with myself and Sonia, and then again as our story continues in relation to these accusations of intimidation against the Brady family. We have no issues whatsoever in holding our hands up and say, yes, we are questioning these people. Yes, we have found out very worrying and concerning aspects about their testimony. Yes, we have proof positive that they told lies in their statements and during their testimony. So therefore, it is only, I think, our right and Aaron's right, particularly Aaron's right, to question those who told falsehood against them, to help a depraved Garda system and a Garda investigation, to help a depraved DPP, to help depraved prosecutors who knew the level of people they were dealing with, who knew and were fully aware of how they were coerced into making these statements and giving testimony. So I just want to run through this video. It touches on Daniel Kahal, obviously, but it brings in other aspects of those who are intimidated also. And again, I repeat, it shows quite clearly that the thread of authenticity and continuity runs through Aaron's campaign from the very beginning. So here's this little video with myself and Sonia, and as I say, it's from December 2022. So we'll listen to that now. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again as we continue our Justice for Aaron Brady campaign. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware we have moved on now and we're covering the scenario where the authorities, the An Garda Síochána, the DPP and the prosecution in Aaron's case have accused us on numerous occasions in respect of intimidation of witnesses. And we have briefly gone over the scenario where Molly Staunton was assaulted in her apartment in New York and no action was taken by any of the Irish authorities, which is highly suspicious to say the least, and we covered that. And we showed clearly that that was one situation where the authorities intimidated witnesses and the Bradys had nothing got to do with it. Now we're going to move on to the second part of this, and we're going to have a quick look at Daniel Kahal. And what drew our attention to this was
I'm just going to bring it up there at the bottom of the screen. This is from Robin Schiller, investigative journalist, he calls himself. And he said, a campaign of intimidation against key prosecution witnesses was a constant feature throughout the Adrian Donoghue murder trial. Before he was even arrested for murder, Aaron Brady was identifying people who could have potentially incriminating evidence against him. Serious concerns were raised throughout the trial about witness interference, but the jury never knew about this. Now, this little part of this article by Robin Schiller brought this to our attention because we actually did contact the Bradys, and it's a text message Sonia sent to Daniel Kahal. We'll come to that in a second. But while Aaron was incarcerated for wrecking the cars in Dundalk, he was deported from America and he was sentenced to Wheatfield Prison for damaging the cars and wrecking cars in Dundalk. Now, I just want to very briefly give some correlated information into Daniel Cahal's statement. His statement was never in the book of evidence we received prior to Aaron's trial. So Aaron's trial was due to start on 8th of October 2019. Daniel Cahal's statement was not in that book of evidence. There was, however, a statement from Anthony, and this is Anthony here. We know a little bit about him and the cash, £30,000 worth of cash, £30,000 worth of cocaine, ammunition and marijuana. So we know Anthony. So Aaron asked us, he's seen Anthony's tissue of lies in his statement. Aaron said, please go and ask Daniel Kahal, as much as I despise him for him attacking me, he can confirm that Anthony was one of the people who attacked Aaron in 28 First Street. So what we're going to do now is Sonia's going to read out the text message we sent to Daniel Kahal, and then we'll have a look at it in respect of intimidation.
Okay, so on August the 11th, 2019, I had sent a message to Daniel Kahal through Facebook Messenger. And as you can see, this is what it says. Yeah. Hi, Dano. Sonia Brady here. I am Aaron Brady's sister. Myself and my dad would really appreciate if you could chat with us just for 5 minutes over the phone. We understand the problem this situation has caused many people, but I promise from the bottom of my heart, all the Bradys want is the truth. If it suits, we would be available to speak to you anytime that suits. Kindest regards, Sonia. Now, this was sent asking Daniel Kahal just simply if he would just come forward and tell the truth about the attack on Aaron that took place and confirm that Ado, Davy and Anthony, along with himself, attacked Aaron. So this is why we sent this message. We just simply wanted to speak to him and get him to confirm that. So, and speaking of that, we implore you, Ado, Anthony and Davy, you know the truth. You do know the truth. You can confirm that this attack took place and that Daniel Kahal attacked Aaron and denied it. He denied it under oath. So it is now time to come and tell the truth and simply tell what actually happened. Yous know. So please come forward. So we're also making a special appeal to Anthony, who lived across just from us here, over Carriv Mountain. You have been to your solicitor before. You have been there before. Please, it is time to go back to your solicitor again. We, the Brady family, want the truth.
And that's simply it, and that is why that text message was sent. I'm going to bring it up here again, and we're going to refer back now to Brendan Graham, Senior Counsel for the prosecution against Aaron. And I have shown you this in the previous video. We're going to bring it up again because these people have to be respectful of what they say in court. And here's it up in front of you again. And there's Brendan Graham. As you can see, he's now defending Gerard Hutch. And I believe it's a very high profile case ongoing in Dublin. And while on his feet in the court, in the Special Criminal Court, Brendan Graham, a senior counsel for Mr. Hutch, argued that criminal proceedings are not simply a forum where stuff is put out there and that there are always rules against scandalous matters. Now, I will say to you again, Mr. Graham, do you see this text here and the wording of it? Does that in any way suggest to you that it is in any way intimidatory? In any way, shape or form, can you say that? And this text message was sent to a man whose best friends were Alan Ryan, Vinnie Ryan and Dean Evans, to name but a few. So I don't think the wording that Sonia put in that text message could be any way intimidatory. And it would suggest that you were misleading the court, Mr. Graham. And I think we can argue that very, very strongly. Now we have a situation where Daniel Kahal was contacted by Homeland Security and Garda Síochána looking for this man here, Dean Evans, who murdered Peter Butterley in 2017, and Daniel Kahal still remained in New York. He was an illegal immigrant. So there was some form of intimidation. So I would suggest to keep Daniel Kahal quiet and keep him in America, there had to be some form of coercion, intimidation. So that brings the score up to now, intimidation by the authorities 2, intimidation by the Bradys 0. And then we come to a situation where Daniel Kahal was hiding in an attic, caught with cannabis, caught with steroids, totally illegal, had attacked people with a machete, and had a number of issues possibly awaiting for him at home. Because I do believe recently he told us in a podcast in America that he was stabbed 4 or 5 times in Dublin before he came to America. So obviously there's coercion and some form of intimidation there. So now this brings our score. Intimidation by the authorities 3, intimidation of witnesses by the Bradys 0. Now we're going to continue with this story and show how this is a tissue of lies that has been created once again, and we will not allow it to happen over the course of the upcoming trials for Aaron and for the other 2 men involved at this moment in time. We are not going to allow it to happen, and we ask once again, and Sonia will ask you, the Irish public, to help us.
Yeah, please continue to like, comment, to share, to speak Aaron's name, to speak of this case, to get the word out there. And we thank you so much and appreciate all the support, seen and unseen. Please keep following, please keep liking, please keep sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll be back again. I think we're going to release another video tomorrow in respect of the main part of the WhatsApp video that was released. And we'll see who was intimidating who once again. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video. Thank you.